everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match beyond all reason. The battle is already paused, apparently, as we get into a pro level match that was recently played on Pawn Retreat. Sorry, zipping the camera around here. I wasn't sure if maybe I'd have to restart this recording or something. Looks like this replay file is good though, so we will march right on ahead. Spawning right up here on the front line on the right hand side is the blue team's Cortex commander, their leader, Otherwhere, not a name that I recognize, but hailing from the lands of Japan and hailing with silver chevrons, 49 open skill. Very impressive high-level player. Either someone that's been renamed or that I just haven't been able to catch a game of recently, but regardless, if it's the latter of those two, I'm very thrilled to see exactly what they have to put out on the field today. Spawning in the exact same position on the other side of the map is the red team's Armada leader. It's going to be underscores. Underscore. A commander we have seen around a couple of times. Everybody reminds me of what their old name was, but I always forget it. But anyways, silver chevrons, 53 open skill, and well worth paying attention to here. Seeing exactly what's going to be going down in the front lines. I'm always excited by these pro level games. We've gotten the chance to look at quite a few of them recently, and I'm really always stoked whenever we do get to see them, because it's just a whole different game, right? Down in the metal lobbies, down in the bronze and the silvers and the golds, we don't actually have a ranking like that, but maybe more accurately, maybe down in the 20s and 30s open skill. Yeah, things tend to be a little bit different, but up here in the 40s and 50s, the pro leagues, things move a whole lot faster. Things go a whole lot faster, and indeed, if this replay timer is any indicator of that, then I certainly think we're in for a game. Should be action-packed here. Reclaiming a bunch of trees right here. We're going to go for some resbots, of course, to try and eat up a lot of these trees. These resbots give about 100... Is it 100? No, it's about 60 energy per second while they're reclaiming a tree. Obviously, in the early game, that's monumental. That's more than half of the economy right here. You can see while we're reclaiming trees, tons and tons of energy is available to pump out constructors, for instance. And it looks like we are going to go into 3 constructors and a whole boatload of ticks. Already we've got some ticks coming out right here from Pro High Gain as well. The Cyan Green Commander and the backline right here for the blue team. Going to be trying to get a bunch of ticks out on the field and then eventually some constructors. We've already got the mexes up and running. Some wind turbines. Wind speed, has plummeted. Going to mean that no longer can we rely on any of that wind speed. Ural setting up a base on the high ground right here, trying to make sure that lab stays safe while also keeping it within access reach from the front lines here. A bit of a cheeky play, but I like to see it. Very creative, lovely stuff. Fighter heading across the map here. Oh, are we trying to snipe transports? Could be that we're trying to snipe transports here for Blitzcrank. Looking for every opportunity that's available. How many are there, though? It doesn't look like there's all too many. Heading towards Chief Panda's base here, maybe expecting an air player. Gonna be quite surprised, yeah, to find a bot lab here. Definitely not standard whatsoever. You can see Blitzcrank with the air lab right now. Actually, nobody's spawning on this lab. Oh, okay, hold on. We must be doing something strange here. Oh, I see. Yeah, so instead, okay, so Ural has played to the front here. I was wondering how this commander ended up over here. So Ural has started on the front lines here, prompting way more aggression than usual here, meaning that Blitzcrank has all of these metal extractors to claim back here. I'd love to see a transport and moving that commander around. I think that's probably the most efficient way to do that. But certainly any way of getting these mexes up and running is going to be phenomenal. What it means is the team as a whole goes without a little bit of metal. That difference can be easily made up though by claiming just a couple of metal extractors on the front line. And managing to get all those under control really early scales into a big difference later on in the game. Couple of grunts sneaking past over here for Otherwhere. Excellent map awareness. Finds the opening right here in the Tan Commander's armor. Gonna find a constructor, metal extractor, plenty of ticks, loads of opportunity here. Yeah, actually no units in the base right now. Pawn comes out. It'll be kited quite nicely here. Nice control right there from the blue commander. Manages to get into the base. We're gonna try and snipe the resbot here. I'm not sure. I think maybe going for the metal extractors would have been a better value right there. Still, though, sniping that resbot does mean now that we're detached from the lab over here, so we are going to be able to move towards the Maroon Commander. You know what? Just goes to show the experience right here. If we had gone for the metal extractors, this aggression would have been shut down, but we didn't, and what it means is that now we can pick off a constructor in the backline right here. Very annoying. We have a shuriken trying to shut this down. Will paralyze these 2 grunts in the backline right here, bringing an end to their aggression. But a beautiful play right there from the blue commander. Those early game hijinks can be very difficult to counter. What on earth has happened here? A little bit of a commander trade. This is interesting. The red commander handed a second commander after losing one of them on the front line, apparently. That's quite interesting. Gonna be eating up tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of metal. About almost 3,000 metal, 2,500 metal or so. Not to mention all the units and whatnot that are coming out here as well. Trying to defend this base, and the defender's advantage is real, and we will manage to deflect most of this attack here. Nicely done. Bomber coming out here to try and deploy some heavy impulse warheads directly onto the base right here of the Red Commander. Not the end of the world, of course. Yeah, going after that eco makes a whole lot more sense. There we go. Metal extractor, wind turbines, all that good stuff falls. Oh, missed the bombing right over there.
Battle paused.
Blue team loses a player.
Battle started.
Oh boy. Chaos all over the place. Chaos left, right, and center, as apparently we've had the blue team lose a player right now. Well, all right. There we go. And well, oh, okay. Yeah, we're in a little bit of a commander trade over here for Narnuk. Narnuk and Achille trying to battle it out over here, but we also have the pawns right now. They need to keep moving forward. If these pawns move forward, they can snipe a whole bunch of the base over here. Yep, they were too slow, and otherwise managed to get some static defense up and running. So now that LLT will be more than sufficient to shut a lot of this down. Reinforcing units also going to be good enough to shut down a lot of this as well. And even though this aggression is quite nice, those pawns across the field, I think they're going to be dealt with relatively nicely, relatively cleanly here from the blue commander. Yep, LLT cleans up the rest of it. Blue team definitely looking a little bit cleaner, Just looks like the difference is a better placed shot here, a better microed unit there. Very minor changes, but eventually that can add up quite quickly. Now, all this metal that was eaten up by the red commander could certainly be a boon to the red team. Of course, most of that was actually handed over to other members of the red team. Looks like we need a little bit more eco-scaling here. Not much, though. Mostly just trying to keep units on the field and not lose them in an inefficient manner. We do have the red commander moving forward, trying to claim metal extractors here, too. Going to find the powder blue commander Blitzcrank has been hard at work claiming those metal extractors, putting out the extractors on the field, trying to get a killer economy up and running right now. Ticks running around still, popping defenses. That's Little Worm. Finding a kill on a metal extractor, still finding immense value for those early game ticks. Very, very easy for a tick to get value. It only has to kill one or two things, even just doing damage, and it can find value. Whole bunch of pawns moving forward here as well. LLTs have been set up here. I'd be more comfortable with beamer turrets, but LLTs will perform just as well in mass. We do have, yeah, okay, we're gonna deflect off that. You need quite a few in order to efficiently do this, but Blitzcrank is horribly, horribly e-stalled right now. Trying to put units on the field, trying to get things up in the air, trying to do everything and some more, and just doesn't have the resources in order to do it. Fighter's going to engage over here, try and shoot down some of those maroon fighters. Very nicely done. That was a very efficient air fight right there for the blue commander, definitely spiraling that closer and closer towards the blue air superiority control. Medium tank ball, meanwhile, accompanied by a couple Janus and a missile truck as well, pushing forward right now, forcing BCTV. Is that Barcast TV? I never got a confirmation on whether that was. It's just the perfect acronym for Barcast TV, but it could be somebody completely different. I hope it's BCT, or I hope it's Barcast, so that I'm not mispronouncing somebody else's name. But anyways, the brown commander BCTV here, going to be forced offline a little bit by these tanks, which are now free to harass the base of God Hates Cowards. The orange commander over here in the middle of the map, there's a beamer turret, that's quite nice. Wonderful for dealing with those Rocketeers, of course, because it can outrange them. Doesn't have the vision range, though, so you need a radar tower behind it, or somewhere nearby. Rocketeers still numerous enough, though, that they're not really going to care. One or two volleys and the beamer turret does go down. Shizato trying to push forward, continuing to apply pressure. We've got a forward T1 lab right here for the time being. T2 is being handed out by the red team. Trying to propagate that T2 as quickly as possible here. We do have T2 coming up in the backline as well. Narnok going up to T2. Still fighting on the front lines, though, while going up to T2, so explains a little bit of the loss of ground right here. We are eating up the T1 laboratory as well. Trying to make that very expensive change up to the T2 economy, but it pays itself off very quickly. After just a couple minutes of grinding out metal, these T2 metal extractors pay for themselves really, really nicely. Transporting, pardon me, the T2 constructor around. Azariad moving forward here, looking to trade out with the second red commander of the day. There we go, beautiful explosion right there. Wipes out most of the red forces that were pushing forward, but we do have loads of reinforcements continuing to rush in right now. Tons of grunts, tons of pawns, but I think the pawns come out on top of this just because the shape of the engagement is in their favor. Essentially, equal numbers of pawns should never get on top of equal numbers of grunts. You're relying on that kiting here. Meanwhile, using this break in the action, that explosion in the action, to sneak into the backline here as Little Worm manages to get a couple of ticks into the backline of multiple bases here, starting to peel apart metal extractors, wind turbines, all the production that they can. Construction turrets eventually taking these down. But suffice it to say, finding value. finding value, and that's what's important. Ooh, some of the tick's gonna find the metal extractors over here as well for the powder blue commander. That's really annoying. Difficult for the powder blue commander to rebuild all these, or deal with any of these for that matter. Shuriken gonna paralyze some of them, but that's really the best you can do as a Cortex air player. High gain, making big moves. Marching forward with the tank ball that has now hit sufficient numbers to essentially steamroll any T1 army. You're looking to hit those numbers before T2 starts to roll out in the field. T2 really the only thing efficient enough to really concisely shut down a big medium tank ball. Even then they have trouble with it. There's only, specifically for instance, I'm thinking of Czars or Fat Boys or something like that that can really, really devastate big balls of units like this. But even things like Welders or anything like that are going to struggle a little bit against those medium tanks. Mass Shuriken to try and clean this up. Shuriken are excellent, they're so valuable, but also, they don't do any damage. They're only a band-aid. And if you don't have a way to clean up these ticks like we see right now, this just becomes more and more of a problem. We need an LLT put down, we need some way of dealing with this, but we just don't have it. There is sprinters now going around to try and clean a lot of this up in the backline. High Gain is looking to finish this game immediately, though. The whistlers, the missile trucks here included in the composition, shooting down the Shuriken, and that's very critical. Super, super important that those stay up and running, because otherwise Shuriken do shut this down bizarrely efficiently. This tank push has been devastating. Beautifully, beautifully done right here. Janus tanks now coming out, trying to fire at whatever they can. Whoa, we got a flying blitz. That blitz flew higher than a blitz has ever been before. All the way up in the air, bouncing off of a wreckage somehow. This game is dynamically simulated physics, so there you go. In case you were curious about what exactly that looks like. High Gain in a lot of trouble here. Pawns jump on top of the Cyan commander. Is there enough of them though? It's very close. 10% HP remaining on that commander. Ooh, the Janus is looking to fire. Boom goes the green commander, and just like that, the push has been halted. It took 3 different players, all combining forces and firing away as fast as they could, but eventually, this push was petered out. Red Panda lost the base, or pardon me, Chief Panda lost the base. Has been handed over a commander here as well, going to try and rebuild. For the time being, though, that is a massive hole in the defenses right there for the red team. We're gonna need aggression on the other side of the map in order to counteract that. Achille and Sussy Worm still going hard over here on the right-hand side, fighting 2 against 1 against Otherware here. Actually, that's not fair. There are forces here for Narnuk moving forward. We do have the Shuriken paralyzing stuff as well as the pawns move forward. Excellent timing right there on the Shuriken. That commander is at 8% HP. If we jump on top of it, we can certainly get the kill with this many pawns. There we go. Shuriken just trying to make sure that this fight goes in the favor of the Cyan commander, making this run by as efficient as humanly possible. For what it's worth, doing a fabulous job of it. Units now being split off to go harass the backside of the base of Achille here. T2 units heading out on the field. We do have a couple of hounds built and sent to the front lines right here by Damus, trying to put those units to work. BCTV trying to rebuild on the front lines right here. Was it BCT's base that got knocked out right there? I think it was, actually. I think it was the brown base that was lost. Pawns, with the assistance of the Shuriken, have had more than their fair share of movement into the backline here. T1 Lab paralyzed at this point. Means nothing is there to shut these down. My goodness. What a cheeky airplay. You win the air superiority, and then just like that, you can use your Shurikens offensively to shut down all of the production right here, completely eliminating all production over here on the right-hand side. Means everyone is forced to pull forces over to the right. We do have some rocket spiders here, the Recluses, as well as their Weber cousins, firing away right now, trying to paralyze whatever they can, and then, well, connect those triple rocket salvos. Difficult to use rocket spiders against mobile targets, but that's exactly what the Webers are great for, making mobile targets immobile ones. Rocket spiders with a tremendous range as well. It's important to remember that these are effectively siege units. They're all right at skirmishing, especially against T1, of course, but ideally you would put them into a skirmish, or into a siege, pardon me. There they go, firing away at the LOTs. That's exactly what you want to use them for. Long-range harassment, essentially. Pitbull is now up and running right here for the Lavender Commander, trying to deflect this attack directly into the teammate Ural here, who, well, absorbs that attack with his body. Yeah, uncomfortable moment right there as the Green Commander is forced to deal with the overflow of units right here from behind. Rocketeers trying to fire away whatever they can, but not particularly well suited for dealing with a big ball of ticks. Recluses still harassing everything that they can over here as well. Looking good over here on the left-hand side. Yeah, the yellow commander making the difference right now, trying to bring this game back into some sort of balance. BCTV pretty far forward. Ooh, nice catch on the hounds. Oh, we don't have energy. Oh no, no energy for the brown commander. Nobody on the red team notices that this commander's without energy, and he does go down. That D-gun could have taken out all those hounds, and I bet he could have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids that forgot to send their commanders some energy after the base was obliterated. Grunts in the backline now. Looks like Otherware is looking to end this here. We do have the hounds marching forward as well. All these units handed over to the brown commander right now. Just free to micro at this point. And so they will. Hounds blasting away whatever they can. Advanced solar panels, regular solar panels, anything and some more. Beamer turret being a threat right now, but as soon as those hounds take it down, the grunts can swarm into this base, making all the difference. We're going into T2, and I think that's the right idea, but it's just too late. A big ball of hounds is already knocking on your front door. How will you answer the call? There we go. Medium laser turrets and light laser turrets falling in tandem right here. The grunts finally have to go ahead to march into the base. There's another beamer turret right here. Still trying to stay up and standing. Blasting away at whatever it can. Hound's doing so much damage to these bases over here, though. Shuriken to try and shut this off. Not bad. Grunt's technically able to fire a shuriken, but obviously not ideal. Same for the pawns. There we go. Shut down, but at tremendous cost. Metal extractor falls. This is a nightmare right here on the left-hand side. Rocket Spider's not done yet, though. Still aggressing across the map. Little Worm still trying to find value wherever he can. There we go. Advanced T2 mechs. Wow, Ural calls the resign vote right here. Already ready to tap out over here. Despite the damage over on the right-hand side, apparently insufficient in the eyes of the green commander. Rocket Spiders tearing apart this base and very quickly bringing this out of balance right now. The red team now commanding an overwhelming advantage. Bombers coming across the map. They're just Stormbringers, but there is quite a lot of them. Grand total about 32 or so. Nice half stack of Stormbringer bombers. And you see we need every single one of them in order to bring that lab down. Eventually it does fall, but my goodness, it certainly takes a minute. Nice splits on the bombers here. Fighters moving left to intercept the, enemy fighters, and then the bombers moving to the right here to try and deal with this base. Wow, and despite that crazy aggression over here, the red team's done it. They've managed to break through right through the middle of the map, punching a hole directly into the blue team's backline economy, taking out the frontline production, doing it all at once, and it's a decisive enough move that it convinces several members of the blue team that it's time to resign. The vote won't conclude, though. There we go. Bombers still harassing the backline with no anti-air option available. The fighter player has effectively been shut down. Loads of Stormbringers still available right here for the pink commander. Targeting down specific structures. I don't even mind targeting down these advanced metal extractors. Oh, there goes one of the commanders right there as well. That Amex actually stands. Just goes to show how awful these Stormbringers are, by the way. All those Stormbringers and they couldn't kill a single advanced metal extractor, so... Fighters have been lingering over the airbase for a good time now, and the Stormbringers will be the nail in the coffin to shut down the airbase right here for the powder blue commander. Just like that, all but one of the remaining commanders stand united, resigning from the match. Narnuk, the one who called the resign vote, the last one left standing. And indeed, the red team will bring it back from the brink of defeat, clutching this game of Beyond All Reason. My goodness, I did not see that one coming. I thought for sure the blue team had broken this northern side, and it was only a matter of time before the middle and the right collected, broke all the players on the high ground, and pushed through. But instead, in a dramatic turnaround, the Rocket Spiders, coupled with the Bombers, managed to bring this game all the way 180 degrees into the red team's favor. Beautifully, beautifully done right there by Chisato on the Bombers and Little Worm on the Rocket Spiders. I absolutely adored it. Thanks a ton for watching, and I sure hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the very next game of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.